Hi guys, Cash Brown back again. Hope you're having a fantastic day or night, depending on where you are. So today we are back watching a video. It's going to be a short video. The video we were watching goes for like 3 minutes. So my video, even though it will be much longer than 3 minutes because I tend to talk a lot, it's not going to be a super long video. But I was going through Twitter and I saw this video and I really wanted to talk to you guys about it. And I wanted to also hear what you guys have to say. So after we watch a video, maybe you guys, if you have any like thoughts or comments, let me know in the comments down below because I'm genuinely curious to hear what you guys have to say. But before we do all of that, can I ask that if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please consider subscribing. Helps me out a lot and it would mean the absolute world. Also, I've now got channel memberships, which is super exciting. What you're seeing on the screen right now is the 3 different tiers. There's bronze, silver, gold. Obviously, the $3.99 one has the kind of perks that you see there. And then the more the kind of money goes up, the more perks you get. Obviously, with things like this, there's never ever any pressure to join the channel. I make content for free, more or less. But the more support that I do get from you guys, the more time I can spend actually making videos. So if you're in a position to, or if you feel like supporting the channel, it would mean the absolute world to me. You get some great perks and yeah, hopefully like the plan, and like my goal is hopefully to be able to do YouTube for a living. That would be amazing. I would love to be able to spend all day kind of seeing what's the latest with the stuff we talk about on this channel. But at the moment I can't do that because I've got to work. So yeah, if you do feel like supporting the channel, it would be fantastic. Otherwise, no pressure at all. But otherwise, apart from all of that, let's jump into the video.
No one in the Congress seems to be asking that. No one did until Marjorie Taylor Greene decided this is worth legislating. She represents Georgia in the U.S. Congress.
Right?
She joins us with an announcement about new legislation pending. Congresswoman, thanks so much for coming on. So what do you plan to do about this?
Well, I find this absolutely appalling, Tucker. And, you know, the whole reason why I ran for Congress in the first place is because I'm one of the Americans that are sick and tired of our government allowing the abuse of the American people.
Yep.
But when it comes to gender-affirming care, which is really child abuse, this is actually an assault and it's child abuse. And this practice should never happen. It's so disgusting and appalling, and it's an embarrassment to our country.
I'll pause it there quickly. And that's the thing. And we talk about that on this channel. Like, I am so blown away that we live in a world where saying that gender affirming surgery on children is a bad thing. That saying that it's abuse is going to get you backlash. I cannot believe we live in a world where to say a man is a man and a woman is a woman is considered you're a bigot, you're homophobic, you're transphobic. All of a sudden, if you rely on facts, if you rely on science, if you rely on common sense, then you're a monster, you're a horrible person. Any discussion you have with, the left extremists, or really the left at all, is going to end in you being called names because they never really have an argument. Because, of course, the things that are happening are so barbaric, they are so insane, that of course they're not going to have an argument. How do you argue that murdering an unborn baby is a good thing? How do you argue that mutilating children is a good thing? It's impossible. So of course they kind of resort to what they always resort to, which is calling you names, because what do you even say to that? And it's just, it blows my mind that it blows my mind that people are too scared to say a woman can't be a man can't be a woman, because people get cancelled, and cancelling isn't any small thing anymore. You get cancelled, you could lose your real life job. It is insane. And I feel like we've given these people an inch and they've absolutely taken a mile. And you're seeing more and more outlandish stuff coming out, right? Because you allow one questionable thing, that becomes, allowed and accepted by the population. Then all of a sudden it's something else, and something a bit more questionable. And we're actually at a point where MAPS, minor attracted people, which we all know what they are, and I can't say the word on YouTube because this video will never see the light of day, but that is apparently, they are considered an oppressed group. They are the victims. Minor attracted people are victims. It is just such a slippery slope. And I knew that was going to happen, and we're seeing it more and more. So I think it's a fantastic thing that Marjorie Taylor Greene, or MTG, as a lot of people would know her, I think it's fantastic that she is saying that this needs to happen, because of course it needs to happen. And it is insane that abuse like this has been allowed to happen already. So the thing is, there has always been people with crazy ideas, outlandish ideas, right? But we as the general public, we would kind of laugh at them, get a bit uncomfortable, and they were never given a platform. But we are seeing these people in high up positions now, and I think that's where it gets really terrifying. And this is why things are happening the way they are. We're seeing politicians, we're seeing teachers, doctors, these people in high up positions are now saying, if your daughter says she's a boy, you need to treat her as such. If your boy says he's a girl, you need to treat him as such. Like, it is absolutely insane. But because they're in high up positions, and because the general public has become too scared to say anything about it because they don't want to lose their jobs, they don't want to lose their livelihoods, these people are being allowed to get away with it. And enough is enough. And you can't, like, it's getting to a point where we can't just sit back anymore, right? Something needs to happen. And this is why I think this is such a fantastic thing. Whether or not she gets the backing to get this bill passed, to get this legislation passed, I don't know. But I do think it's a great thing that someone is finally standing up and saying, hey, this is actually ridiculous.
You see, I'm one of those that believes the Republican Party is only worth being a true party, worth deserving of the people's votes, if we are willing to stand up and stop horrific things like child abuse and like so-called gender-affirming care, which is really genital mutilation. It's puberty blockers that cause chemical castration, teenage girls actually having their breasts chopped off, teenage boys being castrated. This needs to be illegal, and I'm introducing a bill called Protect Children's Innocence Act, and it would create a law that would cause it to be a Class C felony for any person involved in so-called gender-affirming care. That means genital mutilation surgery, that means hormones, that means puberty blockers, anything involving any youth under the age of 18, because these kids are too young to make these awful decisions that will affect them and will be permanent for the rest of their lives.
And that's the thing. This is what's so crazy about it. Children are too young to get tattoos. Children are too young to buy alcohol, to drink, to smoke cigarettes. They're too young to do all of these things because these things, they're not mature enough to make decisions like that. There's a reason the age of consent is where it's at, right? And to say a child is not mature enough to get a tattoo, but they're mature enough to know whether or not they want their breasts cut off, it is insane. There is a reason children don't really get to decide what they do, and it's because they're not mature enough. It is a parent's job to keep your child safe. It's a parent's job to guide your child and to be there to support your child. But when you're seeing these parents so often, like, oh, my son wanted to wear a dress, he was curious, he must be a girl, let's get the hormones started. That is insane, and in my opinion, you are failing as a parent. Parents who do that kind of thing need to have their children taken. They need to be removed by the state. I think it is so clearly child abuse. And I have seen some really, really disturbing videos of parents. Like, one came out recently where a parent was coaching their child what to say.
Like, that's the most unfair way to compete because it's not about winning.
What's it about?
Having fun with your friends for it, though. I feel like that's the most unfair way to compete because it's not about winning.
Parents that do that kind of thing need to be arrested. Their children need to be taken. Exactly like Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying, anybody who is involved in any of this gender-affirming nonsense with children needs to be arrested. If you really are a boy, even though you're in a girl's body and vice versa, then you can wait till you're 18 and make the decision then, when you're mature enough, when you're an adult, right? And of course, a girl can't be a boy and a boy can't be a girl, but I think once you get to the point where you're an adult, if you want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on getting double mastectomies and getting phalloplasties and all these kind of things, then do it. I don't care what you do, but they're really, I cannot believe that we're living in a time where people are doing this kind of thing to children, openly doing this stuff to children, and they're not being arrested. It's insane.
You cut the breasts off a little girl, you should go to prison, of course.
Absolutely.
You perform a medically unnecessary hysterectomy on a little girl, you should be in prison. So, I mean, I assume you're going to get every Republican vote for this.
Ugh, I doubt
You
it.
know, I should have every single Republican co-sponsor, but unfortunately I don't yet. I only have 5 co-sponsors. I'm talking to all of my colleagues and urging them because, Tucker, let me tell you something. This is a referendum on the Republican Party. When we take back the majority, if the American people elect us, we have a lot of work to do. Not only do we need to impeach Merrick Garland, we need to clean out the corrupt FBI. We need to hold the Democrats accountable and defund all of their climate garbage, 87,000 IRS army. But there's one thing that we have got to do, and we're not even a party worth deserving of the American people's votes if we cannot protect children from this horrific child abuse and create this to be a felony. Because this practice has to end. It's the kind of things nightmares are made of, and these are monsters under kids' beds that are doing these horrific things to them.
Yeah. Well, you can't sexually mutilate children. Sorry. And I hope you will send us a list of every Republican who's too cowardly to affirm the obvious. Once again, you can't sexually mutilate children, period. No. So thank you, Congresswoman, for what you're doing on this. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Tucker.
And good for her, right? I think it's insane that even in the Republican Party, that there are people who are not willing to back her. Like, Republicans surely know better than that. The fact that this is a controversial legislation, it blows my mind. But when I only watched the first little bit of this, and I wanted to watch it with you guys, because I really want to know what you guys think. What do you think of this bill? What do you think of the Republican Party not backing her? Do you think it's going to go ahead? What do you think this means? I would love to know all of that in the comments down below. And remember, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please consider subscribing. I would love to make these videos full-time. That's like my dream job, to kind of do this kind of stuff full-time. I could do a lot more videos that way. Anyway, if you do want to join the channel, no pressure. But if you do, click the join button down below. Otherwise, you guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.